Humble Qigong Practitioner secretly governs ET councils in 5D. His past life journeys will amaze you.
Yeah, one thing I would like to know is more about my 5D self.
Your 5D self is a master. Wow. Okay. So when there are councils that come together, a council of nine or council of 13 or whatever, they're acknowledging you. You're not physically sitting in the chairs. You're an energy that surrounds them, that brings mastery. So uh, they come in with the acknowledgement of when we come into the council chamber, the master is going to be there to surround and influence. So we're talking, I don't know what dimension that is, but it's a very high dimensional state. You know, not every master walks among us in plain sight, but today something extraordinary was revealed to me. During a deep channeling session with higher dimensional extraterrestrial beings, a hidden truth emerged. They showed me that this humble Qigong practitioner isn't just practicing energy, he governs it. In the fifth dimension, he is an advanced spiritual master, guiding powerful councils like the legendary Council of Nine. Stay for the entire video because the deeper revelations about his amazing past lives and his true role in the higher dimensions could change how we understand the origins of human souls incarnated on Earth. All right, so here we are once again, and we are here with the most esteemed, most powerful Jedi Black Knight, follower of the channel, known you for quite a while, practicing a lot of the very powerful practices that we do, and quite knowledgeable. I've learned a lot from you, especially when it's come to Vedic practices and knowledge. You've corrected me a few times, and I've been very appreciative of that. So,
It's not to correct, it's just share something that I happen to know,
yeah,
which might enhance what you already know. So it was not meant to correct, but more like enhance.
very true. No, and I didn't take it as anything other than that, and I was grateful. At least I hope most of the time. Some, I've been kind of cranky a lot of times, but you've expanded my knowledge numerous times, and I've been very grateful for that. So I'm also very grateful that you're here. And my personal experience with you is you're a very dedicated, hardworking person, really focused on your spirituality and your spiritual growth. And so I personally just want to say thank you for that and for your example that you've been for all of us. I guess I should get official here. There we go. All right. So we're here to do an ET channeling. And so the way I like to start with these is I'd just like for you to introduce whatever you'd like to talk about, maybe where you're at or where you're feeling or where you'd like to go. It really doesn't matter. We just connect, help you get connected to something within yourself, give us some information on you. And then that usually tends to open up the portals and then the light beings come through. So please share with us a little about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. So thanks for the opportunity. And I'm your student, as you already mentioned, and I'm a practitioner of Lightning Gong. Been doing that for several years now. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe that time has flown, but that's just how it is. And I'm a daily practitioner of Maoshan five elements and also a few other practices that you have put forth, including the Huar practice. And and yeah, the practices are quite powerful and I can feel it as I do them. And it's pretty clear that there's someone out there someone in the space. It's just hard to tell what else is happening. Now, a bit more background. I've had experiences like downloads and such since probably a decade ago. And that seems to be what led me to this path. And as you know, um, I'm originally from India and currently in New Zealand. I have a family, and my 11-year-old son is the greatest blessing that I could ask for, someone I'm always thankful for. And yeah, I have a full-time job, which is serving my financial needs. Though, of course, I must admit that career has been stagnant for several years, but I also spend a lot of time coaching and mentoring my son who's passionate about excelling in a certain sport. So these are some of the 3D ambitions that I have to work with, and I truly enjoy doing that. And yeah, just a bit of more information. Yeah, I've had some experiences, like you can call it CE3, in certain parts of the world. So I have had encounters in some selected spots. So
You mean
I'm not
you've seen craft in the sky? Is that what you mean?
more like
Yeah. Okay.
lights showing up from nowhere and then disappearing. So that kind of encounter, but nothing as dramatic as what you've talked about. Um, so I'm not new to this. I just want to go further into this and broaden my experiences and also understand the bigger picture with respect to my current lifetime, and hopefully, if possible, get some insights into the previous lives. And yeah, I do have questions around why I chose my current family and why I chose this particular incarnation with these circumstances. And also, I wish to know more about my higher dimensional self and things like my cosmic family. So, yeah, anything that the light beings want to say to me, yeah, I'll be thankful.
So they're here. As soon as you started talking, I felt them quite strongly. So I'll just give you. It's hard sometimes. They're like responding to you, and we got to let them finish. They want to jump in there. So my first thought is that there I see behind you a being in like a hooded robe, and you call Jedi Black Knight, and I'm seeing somebody in a black robe, like black hooded robe, and it's not a human. I'm not clear on much anything else. And this is a being that has been with you in multiple lifetimes as a guide, as a higher self. Says he's a family member. A lot of emotion coming up, a lot of love. And this is a phrase that they all repeat. You have no idea how loved you are and how respected you are. You're a very powerful person in 5D as well. They see you as being very powerful. You're a healer. You're a doctor. Now, you're
Oh,
not in medicine in this life, are you?
no, certainly not.
You're a
I'm in
doctor.
the software field.
They're calling you a doctor.
Wow.
And you have been a doctor and a healer many, many times. You wanted to break this life. You wanted to break from that. because people's pain is overwhelming for you. It's bringing up a lot of emotions for your soul, at the very least. And so this life, you said, I need a break from all of wading through people's pain all the time. Focus on yourself. You've been spending many lives, in sacrifice for others. And so this life, you said, I want to focus on me. I need a little space, a little time. And they're laughing because you still end up sacrificing yourself for everybody around you, family members. And so you can't escape who you are. You cannot escape that. So it's okay to surrender to that. Okay, so there's some things coming up. I'll be as general as possible. Physical challenges are a result of what we're just discussing. The fight within yourself to hold on to your integrity against the overwhelming desire to sacrifice yourself for others. That is causing conflict which you've experienced on a physical level. And you can let that go. They're saying it's as easy as that. When you awaken and open to how incredibly loving you are, when you let go of that protection you have of that, that will resolve those issues. Because it's the holding on. That's what's causing any physical manifestations you're having.
Yes, I do have some.
Okay, so they say that's enough of that. Let's move on. All right, so I'm just going to repeat what words come. You need to know why you're so close to your mother. I don't know anything about that.
Sorry, my connection is frozen.
Your your
Oh,
your internet connection is frozen. Am I there now? Can you
yeah,
see?
now it's okay.
Okay, so you didn't hear what I said.
Yeah,
You did or you didn't?
yeah, just a moment ago.
Okay,
Just a moment ago, you said something that I couldn't hear.
okay, that's indicative of something. So they were saying, I can't remember the exact words now. It's important for you to realize something about your connection to your mother, intense connection to your mother. So when K2 is computers. So when the computer freezes up, it means that something that's been said is very powerful and very important. So there's a connection between you and your mother and I don't know if it's this mother in this life or if it's the mother in general, but it's important for you to understand more about that connection on a deeper level. So they're saying it's on a deeper level. Hang on. It's in this life. There's an answer to a question you have. So these are things that, I'm not privy to these things. These are things that, I'm feeling like, listen, this is between him and them. So I'm not privy to what the issues are. But there's a mystery about your life which will become apparent to you when you open up to the healing of that connection. And they say, what that means.
the connection with my mother.
Yeah. The word maternal keeps coming up. The maternal connection to the universe as well, to the mother. We know why you misunderstand the connections you have with people, because you've rejected the maternal within you. Now I'm getting the feeling of like a warrior going off to battle. And you're constantly that warrior going off to battle. You don't stop. You have to stop. You chose this life to take a break, and you don't give yourself a break. That's part of the connection to the maternal. The maternal comes in from the back, a lot of emotion. And as we know from Taoism, the nurturing water is the kidneys. It comes in through the back. So allowing the nurturing to come through you. I was going to say to you, and I said no, through you. When you nurture others, then you, just like I'm the conduit right now, I get the benefit of feeling all of their energy, which is very healing for me. You can stop fighting. Okay. Somebody just called you dad. Hey, dad, let's have some fun. Very emotional. Let's have some fun. I love you so much. Why won't you let me in? We've got some fun things for you to do. Okay, I'm also getting the feeling that your energy practices and all the effort you've put into that, you have built up a huge savings account of all of the energy, but you haven't drawn from it. So you haven't gone to the bank and cashed the check. So you're very like frugal in your energy to yourself. There's some feeling about, and it feels like a past life. You feel like you failed in taking care of the family, taking care of. Okay, so when you were a doctor in a village, you were responsible. There was some kind of tragedy. I don't, I'm not sure what the tragedy was. It was a combination of things. There was like some kind of natural calamity, and there was an illness, and you weren't able to stop it, and you felt like you failed. You held on to that, and you took that into this life. Took that into this life, um, unconsciously saying, "I'm not going to fail this time. I'm not going to fail. I'm not going to fail my family. I'm not going to fail my friends. I refuse to fail." And the end result is you block yourself off from any nurturing that comes to you. So I'm going back to what they said earlier, which is that open yourself up for the healing that comes through you. This will fix that issue within you. So you stopped healing because you said, I'm not going to fail again. I'm not going to be a healer because I'll fail. And I won't do that. And so, of course, you didn't fail. It was just, that's what happens on earth. You know, stuff happens and you didn't fail. This is a lesson. So this was a lesson. We're going back further. So back further in the life, uh, uh, pre incarnation of that life, your soul realized, says, okay, I've got to realize how being interconnected is what matters and not what I do. Because before then, you had been extremely successful. So you had been a very successful healer. And so you understandably got accustomed to that success. And in between lives, and then I see the figure in the hood who's now, wow, who's now pulled the hood back and is smiling and saying, now you can see me for who I am. Now I can finally speak to you. But the lesson you wanted to learn was, I want to get out of being, attached to the idea of being successful. And so you knew that you were going into a life where you would do what you always do. And the earth and the universe was going to provide you with uh, a scenario that you couldn't succeed in. A bunch of people died, a lot of people died, and you couldn't stop it. And you did. Your soul grabbed onto it and it was damaging. Come back into this life. So on the surface level, you say, yeah, I need a break from that. But what's underneath that is a part of you that says, that's just like, I'm not gonna do it because I screwed up and I'm not gonna hurt anybody again. And then underneath that is the higher dimensional part of you that says, okay, so now we get to expand beyond all of those understandings and limitations. And now I'm getting hit with, now I'm really going to learn how to heal. I thought I knew what healing was before. Now I'm really going to learn it. So this is interdimensional healing. You're going to heal this is why, among other reasons, you've worked so hard on the energetic practices. And this is why sometimes you work really hard on the practices and it creates blocks physically. So the energy is not creating the block. It's just the energy becomes more intense. And if you surrender to that, you'll turn into this interdimensional healer. And our 3D minds, past life minds, they go, no, no, no. So we experience that. Now, just to be transparent, I experienced that also. For the past, I want to say the past year, I've been feeling, pain in my knee and things like that. And I know what the meridian is that's associated. So I know what it is. That doesn't mean it's gone away. I'm working through it. And I continue to work through it. But this is something all humans are going to be going through on some level. The shift that we're going through is so profound. Everybody's in their third dimension, and everybody's third dimension is getting cracked open. So, everybody's going to have their issue. So, a way to look at that is to acknowledge how powerful you are. You have a tremendous amount of power. And so now you have to navigate opening up to it and awakening to it and surrendering to it on all of those levels. Okay. That was a lot. There was a lot of energy there.
Yeah, quite a heavy dose.
Would you like to ask something? They say.
Yeah, one thing I would like to know is more about my 5D self and what my 5D self does, and also my cosmic family.
Your 5D self is a master. And what I'm seeing is a masterful conscious energy that is imminent in all things. You have a very subtle touch, very humble. And you know that the more humble you are, the more power you have to influence and help. Wow. Okay. So when there are councils that come together, a council of nine or council of 13 or whatever, those are a couple of councils I've run into. They're acknowledging you. You're not physically sitting in the chairs. You're an energy that surrounds them, that brings mastery. So uh, they come in with the acknowledgement of when we come into the council chamber, the master is going to be there to surround and influence. So there's a what is unique about the feeling I have here in comparison to some others is there's a love and a reverence and a respect for you. So we're talking, I don't know what dimension that is, but it's a very high dimensional state. And your higher dimensional state wants to learn as much as possible about human challenges. So you haven't shied away from those, as we've seen in past lives. And you're on the verge of all of a bunch of different lives are going to come together and explode into an awakening for you in this life. And I just see you as a very wise, powerful master wherever you go. Everybody acknowledges you. You're like a traveling, and this I'm looking forward now. You're going to travel from place to place, and everywhere you go, you'll be like that traveling shaman, mystic wizard that comes into the town or the village, and people go, "Oh, it's him. It's the master. The master is here."
Is
And
that in 3D?
that's in the whatever this next 5D world is. It's coming.
Oh, okay.
And it's okay with me if it's 3D. Uh, you're going to understand some things about yourself that you've never understood before. So be prepared for a massive awakening transformation, explosion of awareness. We don't know why you feel so closed. You're about to spin into something more productive. And it's time for you to look forward to 5D. So, and now they're asking me to step in. So I'm experiencing this. I'm communicating with others who are experiencing this. This is a general human thing moving into 5D. There's that space where we're going to go from our 3D self to our 5D self. It's going to be a huge jump. And as we get to that, the pressure starts to build. So everybody's feeling the pressure building and building and building and responding in whatever specific way it is in their life. And a lot of people are feeling like they're stuck and they can't go forward. So they're telling me that it helps you to know that this is coming, this is where you're headed. And as you hit the resistance, it means that you're getting closer and closer to the explosive awakening for you. And when you awaken, you're going to know. You have you have powers and a path that you wouldn't understand right now, but when it becomes clear to you, you'll know exactly where to go. That is a message they give to a lot of people, myself included. You won't understand it if we tell you now, but when the time comes, you'll know exactly what to do. And they say you're not really here right now. You're really in your higher dimensional space. So you can at any point in time just simply choose to call the master.
Yeah, that would be my next question. How to call the master?
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Just starts with, I know that my higher dimensional self is there. Imagine you're standing next to somebody who refuses to acknowledge your existence. Wouldn't matter what you do, they wouldn't know you're there. But the moment that they go, okay, and they look and they see you, they acknowledge you, now you can talk to them. So this is the case with your higher self. And remember, your master self is very subtle. You know, unlike me, he's 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 gonna wait. He's not gonna, when you're ready, you'll say, hey, and he'll go, oh, it's you. Okay, let's talk. This might be the being that I see behind you. I don't know.
Okay, a bit of context. Last night, my son and I sat together and watched Revenge of the Sith. That was Star Wars 3. So I guess it's not a coincidence. And yeah, if you look at the picture of Obi-Wan Kenobi and who else? Yeah, he was the main one. And of course, Darth Vader, who was also dressed like that.
Yeah,
And Darth Sidious, but of course, that's on the dark side of the Force.
yeah.
But on the light side, it's Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, me too. And I would guess that that's done partially on purpose to get your attention, and then that's why there's so much like laughter when they pull the hood off, and you know what I mean. So they're in that space now, but you like that depth and that mystery. So that's a third dimensional understanding because we take things and we make things darker down here. That's a third dimensional understanding of your master higher dimensional self. He's very subtle. He's in the background. He's immanent with everything and very connected to intuition. So again, the feeling is you have to really drop the armor, really drop the harsh intensity that that's got to come down. So you have to, when you do that, it might be frightening and painful for you. So there might be some trauma, some emotional, maybe this life, past life. Again, past life I was seeing was pretty intense, could cause some pretty severe trauma. Um, so you're going to have to relax into that. And as the knowledge comes, you'll have to do some inner healing, allow yourself to have the pain. Feel free to share it with those that you trust and see what else. What else would you like to ask? I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, to some degree, because one of the things I've been trying to do in all the nightly sessions is invoke the higher dimensional self. But yeah, it has always been subtle, never been quite direct as I would like to see.
Yeah,
Now, yeah, I have to ponder and contemplate on what you said about the maternal connection, because there is such a thing going on, which I can talk to you privately about. But yeah, I guess my current challenge is the fact that my career has been stagnant without much of an opening on what to do next and how to progress.
yeah,
And yeah, I know I've been trying to push hard, but it appears that the more I push, the more the resistance is.
yep. Well, that's an easy one. And that's a universal thing people are experiencing, especially the more spiritually inclined, the more energetically awakened people are. Um, the third dimensional workaday world is just not there for us anymore. And so, again, you try pushing hard to do something on the 3D level, it's just gonna, it's gonna break things down. So everybody that is coming to me, people who are aligned to me are, I'm coming to realize are first responders to the 5D awakening. And what's going to happen very soon is that uh, careers are going to completely flip. So the careers that make the most money now are going to be, most of those are going to completely go away. They will be completely non-existent and irrelevant. And the careers that are going to come and rise to the top are going to be the healers, the teachers, the spiritual practitioners, and they will create new ways of functioning that have never existed before. So, you know, you can confer with your higher self, and but you have to be willing to look at a career that might be completely, totally, not only outside of your current life understanding or experience, but out of the experience of most 3D humans. Think about Bitcoin, right? Imagine talking to somebody 100 years ago about Bitcoin. Be like, there would be no, wouldn't make any sense. Now Bitcoin seems to be, this isn't a psychic thing. I'm just, people talk about it like that's the new, gold standard. So that's what I'm talking about. Your next career is going to be something you haven't even truly understood yet, but it's been inside of you. There's something inside of you that's starting to come out, but you have to be willing to at least acknowledge it and entertain it, fantasize about it. So your master self has the answer, and it may be something I mean, I don't know. This isn't it. I'm just trying to give an example. Imagine, a Jedi is perfect. Jedi, these aren't the droids you're looking for. You know, um, to be able to have that kind of influence when you walk into a room and be able to have that kind of influence on people so that their minds begin to shift. So, what that is, only you can know, but that's something for you to discover. And trusting that the universe will provide. So it's time to stop pushing so hard, start trusting. And yeah, these are things you'll have to walk through.
Okay, that's interesting because one of the things that I mentioned about is the fact that my son is passionate about a certain sport, okay, cricket to be exact, and wants to go hard and play for the national team. And one of my current roles that I'm discovering, at least for the next few years, is to be that source of support and be that source of, yeah, mentorship, but more like a drill mentorship. And if I were to think through this, yeah, perhaps it can expand into um, coaching the young kids on how to have a strong mental game that can help them win matches for their teams. So now I'm not saying this is going to be the complete thing, but this could be a part and parcel of what could be happening in future. And yeah, one of the things to be thankful for is the fact that my son is quite aware of a lot of things, including concepts like 5D. He also knows about concepts like CE5, and he's quite bulletproof to indoctrination. The kind of indoctrination that happens in educational institutions these
Yep.
days,
Yep.
what you may call the mainstream indoctrination. And I can clearly see that while the rest of the kids are succumbing to it, this guy's like, no, like Neo in Matrix when he does, no,
Yeah.
I can see that. So this is quite uh, heartening to see that my support has so far paid off. And at the same time, yeah, I got to make sense out of what's pragmatically in store for me and what I should be working for in my future. It's not like I'm that young, but yeah, there is a lot of frustration built up due to the fact that the career has been stagnant for so many years. But I can also see where it's coming from. Perhaps this unconscious resistance to a rise in career that might result in what might be perceived as a failure. So perhaps an unconscious resistance and a tendency to avoid the failure altogether. Perhaps it's something to do with that.
Yeah. And those are all, arbitrary judgments, as you know. It's only that way if you decide that's what it is. If you decide something else, it's something else. So there's a couple of things. The thought came to me that it might be helpful for you to, I think you already do this, but continue to work with K2 and any connections K2 would have for you. Do you have any practices where you work with K2?
Not yet, but since you mentioned this, perhaps I should mention that a few days ago, my son and I were playing cricket in the park, and there was a dog that just came, grabbed one of our practice balls, and ran off into the bushes and lost the ball there. And you know what dog represents?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, there is something there.
Yeah. So that how K2 is in everything, you know, and this is what I was seeing your power. But I'm just, want to give you the picture of imagine having the power to be able to help people really understand mental power. Imagine the influence you'd have on entire generations, because what you said is very important. The mind is incredibly important. And this is what you're talking about. You know that you can win or lose. It's not about necessarily. I mean, you do all the practice and you physical and all that, and then at some point, it's going to be the team that has the right mental understanding, the right attitude. Those are the people that are going to win. So imagine people understanding that about life. And if and to have that kind of influence over a whole generation, I just got hit with some energy about that. So I'm going to say this to you and for everybody else. I know that we all look forward. I'm 60. I think you're younger than I am, but you're not in your 20s anymore, right? So we still are looking towards the world like it's going to be the same, and it's not. It's going to completely change, completely shift. And get it on the ground floor are the people who are the first to allow their career and their life and their focus to shift toward this interdimensional way of interacting. Those are the people who are going to be running the world. And so that's another way to look at it. The universe is saying, hey, whatever your career is, hey, this isn't going anywhere. This is a dead end. Stop, stop, stop. Now, here's this new thing. We need the Jedi Black Knight to come in and start giving people that Jedi mind power to understand. And I think just allow yourself to fantasize about that. Don't have to do anything yet. Just fantasize about it, and then try this idea, and then try that idea, and then next thing you know, you're offering a service because it's something that you care about and it's fun. And then next thing you know, it's a career. But your son is in your life for at least one reason, which is to help you be inspired by this. Before you came here, one of the things you guys said to each other, he said, I'm going to go down, I'm going to be your son, and you're going to mentor me. And by doing that, you're going to realize how powerful it is. So that's why you guys have such a connection and why he's, so savvy when it comes to, the indoctrination. That's not only your influence on him, but it's also his soul came in knowing that that was going to be the connection you guys were going to have. So I'm saying this, to spend time with him, see what comes out in conversation, or at the very least, be in his presence when you think about your career, the new fanciful interdimensional career. Fantasize about it when he's in your presence. And his energy will have an ability to help you shift into something that will be really exciting for you. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
this is quite heavy.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot. You were the heaviest I've had so far. So
Wow.
it tells you how powerful. But it's beautiful, beautiful, and it's so nice.
Yes, I have to replay this lots of times.
Yeah, you are so needed in this world. It probably more than people like me, because something has to bring everything together. The I can't think of the words, but the subtle interconnectedness of everything. Without that, all the other stuff doesn't have a place. There's no context. There's no place for it to happen. And you create that. You create that in a way that nobody else can. So I'll leave you with that, my friend.
And yeah, and here's one what may seem like a silly question. So when this being took off the hood, what did they look like?
If if I'm honest, they're definitely not human. And this hasn't been my forte, but I mean, I'm seeing something that looks like, some kind of like a naga, perhaps. I was going to say reptilian, but people are going to think different things. But it might very well be a naga. Yeah, has to be
And
because
what's the
only
best way I can call on them?
what's that?
What's the best way I can commune with him and call on him?
Go deep within, down your spinal column to your root, and surrender. He's already there. You're focusing on what we would call, superficial things is what blocks you. It's the only thing that blocks you. You go deep within, follow your spine all the way to the root, and just simply reach out. And don't give up. So make it, you can make it a daily practice for, a couple minutes every day. And then also through the crown, you can go to your higher self, which is that master energy. So if you can imagine above you is the master, and at your root is this naga. Okay, yeah, I felt that. So learning how to balance between those two.
Wow.
Yeah,
I have to replay this lots of times.
yeah,
There is a lot covered here. And yeah, I need to use one of my other paid sessions as well, just to talk about this more privately.
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm here. I'm here for
One
it.
of my 4 sessions, and yeah, I got 9 more for the Mao Shan, but yeah, I need to use one of those 4 sessions to talk more about these.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you. I'm here. All right. We're coming towards the end here. So, and wow, you wiped me out. My crown is crackling and sparking and sparking. A lot of
And
energy.
that's, sorry to interrupt, but that's one of the things that happens these days when I do the Qigong practice. So I do the Mao Shan 5 elements and then the butterfly hands and then Hua to pull the 5D energy from the sun, which would be underneath at midnight, and send it all over the world.
Wow. You
That's,
should teach people how to do that. Write that down, codify it, teach people that.
oh, okay.
There you go. There's your first assignment.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. All
Thank you,
right.
sir.
Thank you, Master
Mhm.
Jedi. It's been my honor and my privilege. I'm so grateful to have been a part of this. And yeah, every single person that I've given readings for, you find out in the higher dimensional levels, they are the most powerful beings you can imagine. In fact, if you'd like to have your own experience with light beings, please come to the live guided interdimensional meditations that we do live every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. They're free, and you can go see all of the ones we've done. You just go to the live tab on my YouTube channel and you can see all of them there in case you can't make the live ones. That's it, my friends. Check out all the other links here in case you want to see all the things that I provide with the sole intent of helping you to expand into your highest 5D awareness and to bring 5D to planet Earth. Thank you very much. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. I'll see you all very soon.